Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. A little bit different intro here. This video picks up on the heels of the bodywork video where we fixed the rust hole and this large dent you're seeing now. If you haven't watched that video, go check it out. And this one, going to show how I blended the paint with a buff, wet sand, and then a polish. So strap in, sit down, and let's get it going. Alright guys, so this followed the same way as the last one. I wet sanded, primed, sanded down to 320, high build primer, wet sanded all the way out, done 4 coats of color and 3 coats of clear, with the last one being real heavy. And as you can see right here, this is where I blended in, and I'll have to wet sand once it's fully dry. But as you can tell, that big dent is all but gone. Now I did have a little issue right there, which I'll wet sand a little bit out. Had some kind of chemical reaction to the underlying paint. So I am using 2 different types of paint, so that may have been part of the issue. But I'm gonna roll with it. It's really not too bad. You can see that bottom one just a little bit. It's like a wrinkle just in that one spot. And like I said, I'm gonna wet sand this because it's got trash in it, just because I'm not in a paint booth, and that's some overspray. So once I give this like a, say, 1,000 to 2,000 blend wet sand and then buff, that should just be underneath ripple in the paint. Shouldn't be an issue. But there it is. You guys remember what that looked like before? I think it looks good. A couple days of dry, and I washed it, so you'll see some light scratches in it and stuff. But what I want to do is I got my brighter light on it, so you can see this transition all the way up through there of the overspray. And now we have it a little bit too right here on this side. And then of course, if we go back to this thing, we're gonna have overspray here and just a little up here. But the real thing I'm gonna do is right here. So you'll see me on the time lapse. I got 1,000, 1,200, and then 2,000. So I'm gonna do 1,000, and then 1,200, and then 2,000, and I'll stop, and I'll show you what it looks like. I'll be doing it wet, so I just got an old bottle here from my wife. I'll just spray it down, keep it nice and wet as I work along it. I don't need a lot of water, so yeah. Alright guys, now you can really see where that parting line is between the old clear and the new clear. So we're going to see how this buffs out. And then of course I've done a little wet sand over here to get some of the high spots. And then up through there, and I had some scratches up there I was getting rid of. But now what we're going to use is that wool pad on a high speed buffer. And I'm going to just use some 3M rubbing compound. And I'm going to go through and work this real good all the way back through, up the sides and everything. And this here is kind of an art. So as you go through and you buff, you'll be able to see the paint changing underneath of it. Now if you get it too hot, you'll burn through the paint. But if you don't stay just enough, you won't get these scratches out. Because once we get through this buffing stage, we're going to go to a polisher and work our way out through some grits. Now, like I said, you've got to be super careful around these edges, because in a moment's notice you'll burn right through the paint and be down to primer or even bare metal. So you just want to go light pressure on the edges, and you can go heavier on flat surfaces, but the key is to always keep moving. Don't stay in one spot, and it's the best advice I can give. So let's get this done. Alright guys, so there we are with just the buff. I've got some residue left on there, but you can see the shine coming through. And you can see, if I clean that residue off, what we're looking at. But this, we're not done yet. So you can see that parting line is going. So we have blended the two paints together. And then again, I just hit this a little bit, so get a good rag to wipe that off and we'd be fine. Went ahead and blended this corner too. And then blended this rail. Sorry I don't have good lighting in here. But I actually had some scratches up top here I was working on. They're all but gone. So now, let me get set up with the polishing. All right guys, so what we're gonna be using is this Voodoo ride product. So I have their buffer, their 3-stage of pads, and then I have their conditioner and pad cleaner. So I use Voodoo products about everything, from interior cleaners, outlet, everything, because these products here are, the price is on point and the quality is on point. I mean, I suggest this if beginner, expert, I love their product. So I have a few different brands of polisher, and this one here, it does really nice. So what we're going to do here is, I've basically, with the wool, I've kind of got past this heavy cut foam, so I'm not going to be using it, but I am going to go with this medium cut, and then you got a final cut with the black. And what I've got, this pad conditioner just basically softens the pad up before you get started, and then in the end you can clean it off with this and really save the life of your pad. So that being said, the polisher that I'm going to use is a 3M polishing. It goes along with the whole compound series, which just works really great for buffing out. And then after about, I'm going to say, probably 30 days in the sun or so, and let all the gases get out of this paint, then you can wax it. And then at that point I would use some more Voodoo products. But you do not want to wax it right off, because it's still off gases, and if you use anything that seals that surface, well, then that's going to trap those gases in and could potentially harm the paint. I'm going to go ahead and get this pad on there, and we're going to start buffing. So here's the final product. Try to get it out in the light a little bit better. So you can see there's no parting line there anymore. It's completely blended in. Nice high gloss shine, which is dull to this side, but all in all, pretty happy with it. Turned out pretty good for rattle can paint job. No glazing putty, just the final regular body filler. No glazing top coat to make it real smooth. So that filler did work actually really good. Nice blend with some paint that's about, well, this is 2000, so 23 years old. Go around to this corner. You can see, remember, we blended over to here and we blended up to here. And then of course up here, I was just trying to get rid of some scratches. They're still there because they were deep, but you don't see them drug across. But we still got this little area right here to do. You can hear it as I wipe across it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that finished up, and then the next time I show you this, I'll get it outside, get it washed again, and then do the real viewing out underneath the sun.
So that's it for this video. Sorry for that weird intro and exit, but this Jeep actually left and hit the road soon after that I got it fixed. So the best I can do is these pictures here. So if you guys would, please like and subscribe and follow me on Instagram at MustangJackson67. But until next time, let's keep building.